The sun is starting to rise on a March morning, 2023, outside Paris Gare de Lyon. Gare de Lyon's a very beautiful station. It's just a very impressive entrance, unless of course you arrive from Rue de Bercy like I did, and then you end up going in a very nasty, smelly old back door. But anyway, I'll cut you back to that as I talk. There are 3 halls here, and hall 1 and 2 seem to be for mainline trains, TGV and the like, and then hall 3 down below seems a little bit more local. Anyway, today I'm going to be going TGV down to Marseille, and it's a journey I've been looking forward to for a very long time, and that's because I got really excited when TGV first arrived, and I was amazed how fast you could get from the centre of Paris down to the south coast of France. And yet I've never actually done the trip. This is the first time I'm travelling on that TGV line from here in Paris all the way down to Marseille. Well, I've got a cup of Earl Grey, and I've got a sandwich, and I'm ready to go. So all it leaves is to say, here we are, Paris Gare de Lyon, on our way to Marseille. Let's see how it goes. Well, as you can see from the blur on the camera lens, it's been raining a bit here in Paris this morning. Now, as we enter hall 1, it's a bit of a building site right now, but nevertheless it's still pretty impressive. As you'd expect, there's a pretty good selection of shops and eateries in the concourse. It's a bit early for my platform to be announced, but we will be leaving today from hall 2. But there's still time for some train spotting in hall 1 before we go across. Sadly, the famous Train Bleu restaurant is not visible from within the concourse due to the works. Right, now it's time to re-walk that amazing connecting corridor between halls 1 and 2. Which contains a lovely frieze that features destinations that you can go to from this station. It also contains a few high-end shops and the SNCF travel centre. And here we are back in hall 2, and it does kind of, to me, feel like it's been lifted straight out of Kew Gardens, with the plants being replaced by benches. And our train is now ready for boarding. The rear section of our train is a 2-power car and 8-coach TGV Duplex, which, as the plate suggests on the side of the power car, was built by Alsthom in 2006. But I've got a fair walk because I'm going to be in the front section of the train. Across the way is a TGV Lyria, which is waiting for its next trip to Switzerland. Ooh, look, I'm going to be travelling on one of the Réseau Duplex units, which features repurposed Réseau power cars. How classic. These power cars date back all the way to 1993, when Alsthom was spelled differently as well. I love the idea that my power car at least stretches all the way back to 1993 and features that wonderful classic TGV nose shape. Right, here we are, and my seat is here on the lower deck. And here it is, a single front-facing seat. Paris to Lyon, LGV Sud-Est, was the first French high-speed line. Services began way back in 1981. We'll be bypassing Lyon today to run non-stop to Avignon. And from there, there's just one more stop at Aix-en-Provence before we get to Marseille. Our journey today will be 658 kilometres or 409 miles, and it will take us just 3 hours and 22 minutes. That gives us an average speed of an impressive 195 kilometres per hour or 121 miles per hour. By comparison, a similar distance in the UK from London to Glasgow takes 4 hours and 30 minutes by train. And here we go, my first ever ride on TGV. I am very excited. Now that's a cracking signal box too. And there's certainly opportunity for a little bit of train spotting at the SNCF Techni Centre.
Mesdames et messieurs, chers voyageurs, bonjour, je suis Denis, votre chef de bord, accompagné de Luc, Michel, Bernard et Joël, ainsi que Michel, notre conducteur. Nous souhaitons la bienvenue à bord de notre TGV Inouï 6000.
And once clear of that, we're soon speeding out of Paris. Les Yeux de Gare are quite a spooky sight on this gloomy morning. Well, this landscape may be a little boring to look at, but it's certainly very well suited to laying high-speed track. And it's no surprise that we get to cross the River Seine. And soon we're going through the major flying junction with the classic Paris to Dijon line. Right, it's time for a little seat tour. Legroom is perfectly acceptable for a first class seat, and of course it comes with a footrest. The drop down table is large and sturdy and comes with one of those metal hoop things, which this time does in fact fit a cup. Marvellous. And on the seat back is a cargo net for some small items. On the wall there's a 2-pin European style plug with a very funky chrome surround. And I get my own personalised mini bin. Up above there is a sunblind, but I'll leave it where it is so as not to annoy my neighbour, and there's also a switch for the reading light. The Aqueduc is already doing a sterling bit of work holding my ski jacket, and the retractable armrests are absolutely wonderful. Real sofa quality armrests. And there's no shuffling backwards and forwards on TGV. The recline is fully electronic. All in all, with its classy pinstripe finish, a lovely seat. And the French countryside continues to flash by at 300 kilometers per hour. Incidentally, I'd like to prove that, but my speedometer app resolutely failed to work for the whole journey. At Macon, we crossed the River Saône, and the line for Chambéry peels off here. I'll be coming back this way in a few days. Right, time for a closer look at the interior of this train. Our lower deck first class area has plenty of luggage space for the passengers, even though we're pretty much full. There's a toilet here at the bottom of the stairs, but let's go up and have a look at the upper deck. So whilst the seats are the same, the overall decor is definitely paler and more bright and breezy. And there is a fun little bench here for having chats or maybe taking a few business calls. The next coach is more of the same, first class, and as you can see the train is well loaded. And the coffee bar looks great with its sparkly red lampshades. And you get a free little chocolate with your coffee. This really is a great place to chill out for a while. Well, let's have a look at second class, and SNCF have gone for a kind of aqua blue colour scheme, which still looks pretty good, mind you. And the seats do look fairly comfortable, even though they're in a 2+2 formation. But where you lose out is that more passengers means more luggage. So back in first, it definitely feels a lot less cramped. So, whilst we're speeding through the French countryside, let's have a look at what this might cost. Well, I was travelling on an Interrail ticket today, so my advance reservation was just €10. However, if you're buying about a month in advance, tickets for this train are €49 in second class and €60 in first. Unlike in the UK, the first and second prices are closer. However, that's because there are no extras in first. You are just paying for a nicer seat, which I suppose is what Avanti West Coast are now offering with their standard premium product. So after about 2 hours and 40 minutes, all of it pretty much done at top speed, we start to slow down for Avignon.
Mesdames et messieurs, prochain arrêt, Avignon TGV.
Not much to see of the station on this side of the train, is there? And we're treated to a quick glimpse of the Pont du Gard, which is a 3-tier Roman aqueduct which dates from the 1st century CE. And our final intermediate stop will be Aix-en-Provence. Again, it's tricky to see from where we're sat, but this looks to be quite a cracking railway station behind this barrier. Right, let's crack on through the outer suburbs of Marseille for our final destination. And as we get a little glimpse of the old courthouse, we're also treated to not one, but two cracking looking signal boxes. And we arrive into Marseille spot on time at 10:56. And what a great run that was. Although it's a grey morning, Marseille St Charles is looking mighty fine. And here's our beast, 30 years old and still going strong. Right, well, my onward travel has been cancelled due to the ongoing French strike, so it's time to leave the station and see if I can get somewhere to stay in Marseille for the night. And welcome to the Hotel Terminus, just across the road from the station here at Marseille. Well, just a little bit of feedback really on my first TGV Inuit ride. It was great. The seats were really comfortable. Because I was in the lower section, it was really smooth. The dark red of the ceiling and all the decor made it very womb-like in our little compartment, and yeah, it was such a relaxing ride. And then walking up through the first class on the upper deck was lovely, and I would love to have a go on the upper deck as well, because it was bright and breezy and a totally different feel. So certainly worth discussing with yourself how you want to feel, and not necessarily always go for the top deck. I quite enjoyed the bottom deck, I must say. If you've enjoyed this TGV run from Paris to Marseille, then give it a like, and also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my further adventures in France and further afield. But as the sun begins to set on St Charles Station, I bid you goodbye from Marseille, and thanks for watching.